So this is a great trick. If you have a slippery surface at home, you really, when you're dicing, you want your board to be stable. So if your board is sliding around on the counter like this, what you can do is you can get a clean kitchen towel and just make it really, really damp, like hardly any water. Wring it out. I don't want it to be wet, just damp. And then put your board right on top and it won't slide anymore. So that will help you avoid cuts and a lot of frustration. So I like to use Spanish onions. You can use any onion you want, but here's the root end and here's the tip end. I'm going to cut the tip off. And I can see there's a little bad spot, so I'm just going to cut another slice and it's gone. So what I want to do is I want to keep this root end intact on both sides. So that way what it will do for me is it will hold the onion together and so it won't fall apart. So I'm just going to cut right in half and then I'm going to peel back the skin if it wants to come off. I'm going to try not to cry. They have these fabulous goggles now that are just for dicing an onion so you don't cry, so the fumes don't come up in your eyes. I haven't tried them yet, but they're supposed to be really good. And could definitely make for fun conversation at a dinner party. They look kind of like swimming goggles that you swim in. Okay, so I'll just leave the skin hanging off there. And sometimes it really likes to hang on. Okay, come on. Nobody wants to eat the onion skin. So, okay, there we go. Just gonna cut one little piece of skin off there. Okay, so what you wanna do is you wanna take your knife, and I'm gonna cut pretty evenly going up. I don't want to cut all the way to the very back because I want it to stay intact. So I'm going to use the palm of my hand with my fingertips up because I'd really like to keep those. And I'm just going to kind of wiggle the knife back and forth and slide it to where you're going to feel the end. So when you feel some resistance and you're almost to the end there, is about how far you want to go. And then the same thickness, you just want to continue up and do the same thickness. So for this onion, I can probably do it 3 cuts. And then there's a wonderful thing. The onion has these fantastic little lines naturally, so you can just use those as a guide. So for a fine dice, what we're going to do is we're going to cut pretty much right on the line. So take the point of your knife from the root end and just rock it back toward you. And make sure you bring the knife all the way down. I'm just going to continue all the way to the end. And then I'll turn it around. And I'm just going to hold it together. You can either hold it like this and use the flat surface of your fingers as a guide, but make sure you keep your thumb and your fingertips in, because I know you want to keep those. So, or you can hold it like this. So whatever you're comfortable with. Sometimes the onion really wants to fall apart on you. So whatever works for you and whatever you're comfortable with. So now I'm just going to cut them about the same width that I cut horizontally, and you have a diced onion. So that's a small dice. And now I think I'm going to do a larger dice. So let's say I'm making soup. This is great for sauteing. And you know, for a soup, maybe you want, or a broth that you're making, you may just want chunks. Maybe you want to roast, put some chunks of roasted onion underneath a chicken or a roast or something like that to add more flavor. You can go ahead and just make a large cut. So really you can control the size of your dice by how far apart that you slice. And there you have a diced onion, a small dice and a large dice. And there was no crying involved, so this is good. And or goggles.